Hi again then guys, and welcome to another installment of the News Roundup. This time though, as you saw from the title and the thumb, less about the car side of things and more about the motorcycle side, which of course is still a huge passion of mine, especially when it comes to this brand, because Bimota is my single favourite brand of motorbikes. They remind me of Maserati in many ways. They're the more oddball, ultra-exclusive, very rare choice, which can be deceptively capable on the track, just like Maserati. Now this bike is pretty exciting, because in recent years, Bimota seem to have focused maybe a little bit more on the handling side of their bikes with stuff like the DB5 and the Tesis, not so much outright speed machines, but that's not to say, of course, that they can't make a fast bike. The recent BB3 is, after all, based on the BMW S1000, which ain't slow. And even back in the 80s, my favourite Bimota of all time, the YB6 X-Up, was the fastest bike in the world, a 170 mph machine way back then. Now, this bike is going to be one of the fastest things out there because thanks to the fact that Kawasaki now has just under a 50% stake in the brand, this bike is based on the Kawasaki H2 Ninja. Now, that's commonly thought of as being the fastest bike in the world. Technically, not so much. That's more the H2R that people tend to think of, which is not road legal, but it is very fast. This one, though, is no slouch. It's a 227 horsepower bike, and Bimota have officially said that, as well as the power being similar, if not the same to the Kawasaki, the weight and the performance are similar as well. So you can make some conclusions based on that. This is going to be an absolute monster, and it will be the fastest Bimota ever made. But for those who are maybe, again, unfamiliar with Bimota, they're also very expensive. Again, just like those exclusive brands like Maserati and Spiker in the car world, you do pay a hefty premium for many of these Italian brands like MV Agusta and Bimota, and this is one such example. This is a £43,000 bike, which is quite a bit, but at the same time, that is still cheaper, for instance, than the full carbon fibre Senna edition, I believe it was, of the MV Agusta F4, which was like an 80 grand bike. That's still cheaper than the Ducati Desmo Double R, which of course was phenomenally quick, but this is even quicker than both of those. So I would actually say, considering the performance and the brand which it comes from and the associated exclusivity, it's actually not a bad deal at all. And as you could see, of course, from the images in the video of the bike, it also bears the Tesi name, which is, of course, due to that iconic suspension which they have on the front end, the swing arm style without the conventional forks. I've only experienced that in games, such as the ride games, but even just from experiencing it in a game, I love the way the system works. It's such a unique visual style, which certainly isn't to everyone's taste. It does have kind of a retro, almost 80s vibe to it, which I do like about Bimota, but the way it makes a bike handle and perform differently is pretty special, and it gives it more of a almost neutral position for the handling through corners and the aforementioned braking circumstances. So that will be very interesting to see how it compares with the standard Kawasaki, considering that the rest of the performance and specs are so similar. How will it compare around a track? Because of course at the end of the day, most people who buy a Bimota don't necessarily buy it because it's the fastest thing around, they buy it because it's a Bimota. Overall though, that's it for this quick update. Very exciting news for a Bimota superfan such as myself, and for those of you who maybe aren't into Bimota or even just bikes in general that much, I'm sure you can still appreciate it's pretty exciting news for an incredibly quick bike for a surprisingly good price from a company like that. But overall, that's it for this update. Of course, stick around on the channel for more, and for now, as always, thanks for watching.